I've been waiting for this one for a while, and I finally got to see episode 1 of Blood Lad. Now, I've been a fan of the manga for a little bit of time now, and I've been anticipating this anime coming out for a bit. And to be honest with you, first of all, I want to let you guys know, if you haven't heard of Blood Lad before and you're interested based on the artwork or whatnot, what you're getting yourself into with this particular series. It is a seinen anime. Basically, it is for older males, right? Series such as Berserk go by that label. Series such as Mahou Shoujo Madoka Magica go by that label. But it can range in variety of what it is because it's a seinen, but it's also a comedy. And it is very reminiscent of something such as, let's just say, Gintama, for example, as far as it has a bit of comedy in it, but it also gets very serious as well. Now, episode 1, I gotta say, first of all, the animation, the colors look very vibrant, but the animation wasn't necessarily spectacular. It wasn't like, you know, fluid motion all over the place or anything like that, but it was pretty decent as far as for, like, you know, first episode goes. And to be honest with you, I heard that it was gonna be 10 episodes long. I'm not sure if that's been confirmed or not, but I heard 10 episodes. And if that's the case, it's a real shame because I've been reading the manga, and based on the way they paced this episode, because the pacing for this episode was actually very accurate to how the manga does it, and the pacing wasn't all that fast. It was really, like, not slow, it was actually a perfect pacing, but if they're only going to do 10 episodes, I feel as though they're only going to cover, like, maybe 1 or 2 volumes of the manga, if that, with only 10 episodes. And that'll be a big crime, because Blood Lad is freaking awesome. But based off this first episode, what you get is, you get a setup for what the plot is mainly, and that's that this guy, which, by the way, his name is Staz, and if I was any anime character, this would probably best describe me if I was this guy. He's a freaking vampire that's like in the demon world, and pretty much he's just like a hardcore otaku. He loves anime, manga, video games, and whatnot, and that's really just his passion. Even though he's a demon, he has really no necessarily goals to be like demon-like and, you know, just start devouring people. He just has a total different outlook on demons and vampires and whatnot, opposed to what, you know, history says, how they go and suck blood and everything in the human world. He's like, that's so boring. I just want to watch anime, play video games, and read manga, and I love the stuff that comes from Japan. And right then and there, that's where you're like, okay, one of the purposes of this series, one of the things to enjoy from this series is the main character himself. Like, he has a freaking Super Saiyan Goku keychain hanging from his damn cell phone. So this guy is freaking awesome, and he's a vampire at that. So if you like vampires, you like some comedy, you like a little bit of that, you get it with this. But I will say, if you're looking for like a new series that is like, you know, a lot of seriousness and a lot of depth, it doesn't really have that much depth. It's a very simple setup. He meets this girl, Furumi. She's pretty much a human that got lost and somehow ended up in demon world, and after he has a battle with a plant, pretty much the plant goes back, or, you know, it's like a monster plant or whatever, and devours this girl and leaves her in a pile of bones or whatever, and she turns into a ghost, and he becomes basically like, yo, I need to bring her back to life. I was in love with this girl, not in love with her, but like, you know, he was fascinated by her because he'd never seen a human girl before. And from that on, he's like, okay, I'm going to bring this girl back to life. And right there, the setup, very simple setup, nothing too extreme, nothing too complex. So in that aspect, it's very simple series. And just the comedy alone, like, I haven't LOL at a series like this in a bit because it was really freaking hilarious. Where, like, the dude is reading manga to find a way to bring her back, and he's like, no, you know, we get the balls and we'll make a wish to the dragon, and the girl's just like, are you kidding me? So the comedy is there. It's really heavy on comedy, but it's also, you know, it also has a very serious aspect to it as well. So you get a little bit of both. Again, animation was decent. Music was alright. Really, one of the things I liked about it is just the art style in general. It has a real nice, beautiful look to it with all the colors popping and everything. And all the demons, they just have like this kind of pale complexion, but then the backgrounds are real colorful, so it really brings everything to life. And all around, it's just a fun freaking series so far. It's not something that if you're looking for a lot of depth to it, you're not getting this from this series. It's not that type of series. On a scale of 1 to 10, if I had to rate this episode for a first episode of what's to come, I'd give this episode 7.5 out of 10. It was enjoyable. It gave you comedy. It gave you the setup, the premise of what's to come with the series and what it's going to be about. And it gave you a couple of the main characters, basically Staz, Furumi, and a couple other extra characters that were there. So it did that in that aspect. And it also foreshadowed with, like, you know, a character, you know, in the mysterious, you know, fog or whatever that's to come as well. So it gave you a nice little bit of setup. And the thing about it is, as well, it felt like even though they were going perfect pacing, it still felt like the episode went so fast because a series like this really does that. It gives you this feeling of just, it's enjoyable. It's almost as though it's kind of parodying as well, again, because it's just like he's obsessed with anime, manga, and video games, and it's freaking hilarious. If you want something like that, or what I described, then I definitely recommend Blood Lad, because it's also going to be kind of short. From my understanding, it's going to be 10 episodes, but don't quote me on that because it might be incorrect. But pretty short series, action, and judging from what I've read from the manga, I can tell you right now that there's some awesome action to come as well, so expect that. But episode 1, very promising, and can't wait to see some more. Let me know what you think. If you've seen Blood Lad episode 1, or if you read the manga, what do you think of this series thus far? Are you enjoying it? Do you think that it's promising for what it is? Again, it's kind of like a mixture of like a Gintama meets some sort of battling manga or something like that, and it turns into this anime, because it's just freaking hilarious, and at the same time it also has a nice little premise as well, and a nice little interesting goal that Staz has himself, so pretty funny stuff. And if you like a little bit of fan service, you got that with Big Titty Furumi, so there you go. But that's all I have for this episode 1 first impressions review. I'm not so sure if I'm going to review the whole thing. Let me know if you guys are interested in that. Maybe I might consider it. It just really depends, if people are actually interested in hearing my thoughts, because I'm definitely going to watch the whole thing. But if I don't do it weekly, I'll definitely do a complete series review when it's all over, because I'm loving Blood Lad right now. Manga's awesome. Anime episode 1, definitely a nice kickoff. ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And thumbs up for awesome otaku vampires. Hell's freaking yeah.